are collectively absolutely committed to doing that. We are committed to delivering on housing, getting more homes built faster in Toronto, in Milton, across the country.
Mr. Speaker, I'm really glad the Leader of the Opposition started by comparing our economic position with the US. Because the fact is, in Canada, inflation is lower. In Canada, interest rates are lower.
And Canada has now been the first G7 country to lower rates. The first time, the first G7 country to lower rates. The second time.
Remember when Trudeau and Freeland seemed inseparable? The dynamic duo of Canadian politics, ready to take on the world. Well, those days are over. Freeland's shocking resignation isn't just news, it's personal for millions of Canadians who trusted this partnership. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. If you've ever felt betrayed by a leader you believed in, you're not alone. Freeland's decision to walk away from power in the name of principle is resonating with people across the country. But is she a hero or a traitor? By the end of this video, you'll have to decide for yourself. Chrystia Freeland was once Trudeau's most trusted ally. She stood by his side through thick and thin, defending his policies and vision for Canada. But that unwavering loyalty has crumbled, exposing deep rifts within the Liberal Party. For years, Freeland was the golden child of Trudeau's cabinet. As both Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, she wielded enormous power.
Prime Minister has my full support. I know he has the full support of Cabinet, and I know he has the full support of the vast majority of Liberal MPs.
Mr. Speaker, I'm really glad the Leader of the Opposition started by comparing our economic position with the US. Because the fact is, in Canada, inflation is lower. In Canada, interest rates are lower.
Inflation has been coming down. It was 1.6% in September, below the middle point of the Bank of Canada's target range.
Trudeau relied on her sharp mind and political savvy to navigate complex economic challenges. They seemed inseparable, a power duo ready to lead Canada into a bright future. But behind closed doors, cracks were forming. Freeland grew increasingly concerned about Trudeau's economic strategy. She saw his policies as reckless political gimmicks that ignored the serious challenges facing Canada. With potential US tariffs looming and economic uncertainty on the horizon, Freeland pushed for a more responsible approach. Trudeau wasn't having it. He dismissed Freeland's warnings, preferring flashy announcements over sound fiscal policy. The tension between them grew, with heated arguments echoing through the halls of Parliament. Freeland knew Canada was walking an economic tightrope. She urged Trudeau to push back against America First policies that threatened Canadian jobs and investments. But her pleas fell on deaf ears. Trudeau was more concerned with maintaining his image than addressing the real issues.
Things are hard. Life is really challenging right now. And you, our government, need to do a better job delivering for us.
And Canada has now been the first G7 country to lower rates. The first time, the first G7 country to lower rates. The second time.
We are collectively absolutely committed to doing that. We are committed to delivering on housing, getting more homes built faster in Toronto, in Milton, across the country.
The breaking point came when Trudeau decided to reshuffle his cabinet. In a stunning move, he told Freeland he no longer wanted her as finance minister. It was a slap in the face to the woman who had been his staunchest defender. Freeland was furious. In her resignation letter, she didn't mince words. For the past number of weeks, you and I have found ourselves at odds about the best path forward for Canada. It was a clear indictment of Trudeau's leadership and vision. But Freeland wasn't going down without a fight. Her decision to run for her seat in the next election shows she still has political ambitions. Could this be the first step towards a leadership challenge? Trudeau might have thought he was getting rid of a problem, but he may have just created his biggest political rival yet. Freeland's departure was just the beginning. The Liberal Party is now facing a staggering 40% deficit in the polls. How did things fall apart so quickly? And can they recover before it's too late? The Liberals are in full-blown crisis mode. Recent polls have sent shockwaves through the party, showing them trailing the Conservatives by over 40 points. It's a political nightmare that's been brewing for months, fueled by economic woes and a growing sense that the Liberals have lost touch with everyday Canadians. Freeland's bombshell resignation couldn't have come at a worse time. It's like throwing gasoline on an already raging fire. The party was already struggling to defend its economic policies and shake off accusations of being self-serving. Now they've lost their star player and one of their most effective communicators. The reaction from Liberal MPs has been a mix of panic and disbelief. Behind closed doors, there's talk of a party in freefall.
We are committed to delivering on making life more affordable for Canadians. We're talking today about making life more affordable for our brilliant Olympian athletes.
And at the same time, we have now seen wages in Canada outpace inflation for the past 20 months.
We need to make life better for Canadians by delivering economic growth, by investing in jobs and growth.
Some are openly questioning Trudeau's leadership, wondering if he's become a liability rather than an asset. The unity that once defined the Liberal caucus is crumbling before our eyes. But Freeland's exit isn't just creating chaos, it's opening doors for ambitious Liberals eyeing Trudeau's job. Whispers of a potential leadership challenge are growing louder by the day. Names like Mark Carney are being floated as possible successors, promising a new direction for a party desperately in need of a reset. The impact on upcoming elections could be devastating for the Liberals. Political experts are predicting major losses if these trends continue. We could be witnessing the end of Liberal dominance in Canadian politics, a seismic shift that would reshape the country's political landscape for years to come. Is this the beginning of the end for Trudeau and the Liberals? Or could this crisis be the wake-up call the party needs to reinvent itself? One thing's for sure, Canadian politics is about to get a whole lot more interesting. The next few months will be crucial in determining whether the Liberals can pull off a miraculous comeback or if they're headed for a historic defeat. Freeland's resignation is more than just a political shakeup. It's a wake-up call for the entire Liberal Party. The cracks in Trudeau's leadership are now impossible to ignore. This isn't just about one person leaving. It's about a government losing its way. But here's the thing. Canadian politics is entering uncharted territory. The next federal election could completely reshape the political landscape. Will the Liberals crumble or find a way to reinvent themselves? Could Freeland herself emerge as a new leader? One thing's for sure, the drama is far from over. Major changes are coming to Canadian politics, and they're coming fast. So keep your eyes glued to this story. The future of Canada hangs in the balance, and you won't want to miss a single moment of what happens next.